Good morning, and welcome everyone to Coffee with the CEO. My name is Francine Scaboria, and I serve as the Communications Coordinator at Safe Berks. We are so grateful that you are spending time with us this morning and for all your support of Safe Berks and our work serving survivors of domestic violence and sexual assault. Please check your settings and put your screen on speaker view. Hopefully, you have your coffee or tea and feel free to enjoy your breakfast as we share updates. And thanks very much for sending us your questions via email. And now it is my honor to introduce SafeBerg CEO Beth Garrigan. Beth began serving as CEO on June 1st, 2020, just a few months after the outbreak of the COVID 19 pandemic. Prior to that, she served Safe Berks as Chief Operating Officer. She is a voting delegate of the Pennsylvania Coalition Against Domestic Violence and the Pennsylvania Coalition Against Rape, and a Women Excelling Charter member of the American Business Women's Association. We feel very lucky to have Beth leading Safe Berks during this challenging and historic time. So now I would like to pass the mic over to Beth, and she will provide some updates and also answer the questions that you sent us.
Good morning. Thank you for joining me today. And thank you to Mindy, Francine, and Alexis for all their help to make this morning's Zoom possible. I hope you have a cup of coffee or tea or breakfast and are excited to hear all about what's been going on at Safe Berks since June of 2020. Becoming a new CEO during a pandemic has certainly added some challenges to my learning curve and has made it much more difficult for me to get out and about and network like I had hoped. I have been fortunate to have some folks visit here on site, like Mayor Eddie Moran, but just because you haven't seen me in person doesn't mean we haven't been very busy here at Safe Berks. It's hard to believe that it has been almost a year since some of you have seen the inside of our facility. So as I speak, Mindy, Francine, and Alexis will be circulating through some photos so you can see some of what I'm discussing. To those of you who have asked or wondered about our staff and how they've been holding up through COVID, I want to thank you. Our staff are amazing. As you know, we are an essential business, so we remained open throughout the pandemic. Many of our staff did begin working from home in March and were offering services virtually, but others have continued to work on site since March and have assured that our facility remains safe, clean, and staffed for those seeking emergency services. Some days you can even find a few of our fur babies joining us at work because a little pet therapy certainly helps during these challenging times. Our CFO's fur baby, Jasper, is actually here today, and you might hear or see him at some point this morning. Through everything over the past 7 months, I would have to say my biggest concern has been making sure that our staff do not feel disconnected. Having some of our staff working remotely has made it difficult to continue to build a sense of team, which is critical to the work we do. While remote, we continue to provide individual supervisions to our staff, hold team meetings, directors meetings, and staff meetings using Zoom. We also offered weekly activities, some with a learning focus and some just for fun. Each of these activities provide an opportunity to see each other and share thoughts and concerns about COVID, politics, the economy, legislative issues, community concerns, and just each other. As an executive team, we remind our staff of the EAP benefits available to them. We provided time off during the holidays. We issued gift cards to all staff to use on something that makes them smile. We distributed hazard pay incentives to all of our critical infrastructure workers, thanks to CARES funding and grants supported by the United Way. And we distributed cozy Safe Berks fleece for the cold winter months ahead. In January, many of us started to receive the COVID-19 vaccine. And as of this week, all staff have returned to on-site work. It's been fabulous to see everybody in person, hear chatter in the workstations, and laughter in the halls. As I said earlier, we have continued to provide our free and confidential services uninterrupted throughout the pandemic. The shelter remained open 24/7. All residents wear masks and have their temperature taken twice a day. All staff wear masks and have their temperature taken upon arrival. Surfaces are cleaned and sanitized throughout the day. Hand sanitizing stations are located throughout the building, and PPE is readily available. We've implemented a no travel policy and earlier curfews for our residents, and we screen all new residents for COVID symptoms and/or possible exposure. Anyone entering the facility has their temperature taken, and hand sanitizing stations are available at both entrances and our elevator. Signs were also posted throughout the building to remind us to wear our masks, practice social distancing, and be aware of the signs of COVID. Our counseling department worked remotely through the pandemic, but continued to provide individual and financial counseling using a virtual format. Unfortunately, they did need to put support groups on hold, but have resumed offering them this month. Our development team has been working remotely and on-site as needed to meet the challenges resulting from our need to suspend on-site volunteers and many of our fundraising activities, such as our annual celebration of peace. They, with the support of Senator Schwank, facilitated a virtual Walk for No More in October and have been working diligently on our combined celebration of peace and Walk for No More event happening this summer on June 19th, where we will honor John and Lisa Gallen, Mark Goldstein, Blankets of Hope, and the United Way of Berks County for all of the support they have provided, not only Safe Berks, but all of Berks County. The development team has assured that our clients and residents received everything needed throughout the pandemic, especially during the holidays, and have also been able to secure so many delicious meals from donors all over Berks, which are delivered right to the door on almost a daily basis. Our education and outreach team worked remotely through the pandemic and successfully converted all of their primary prevention curricula to a virtual format. They have also continued to provide outreach and training to community organizations, police departments, new staff, and others through a virtual format. They helped create a brand new Safe Berks overview video, which highlights each department and gives an overview of the services, as well as introducing all of the staff. With concerns about social distancing guidelines and not becoming a super spreader event, we made the painful decision to host our annual Silent Witness event virtually. But we were able to offer some private opportunities for family members of those who lost their lives to domestic violence to visit the silhouettes and/or speak to our staff. Our Medical Advocacy Partnership Program department has worked remotely through the pandemic, but has provided in-person response to victims of domestic violence and sexual assault at the 3 major medical facilities, when permitted to do so by each facility. When in-person was not permitted, they continued to respond by phone. They have also continued to provide virtual education to medical providers on the importance of screening all patients every time for domestic violence and sexual assault and human trafficking. Our legal team has worked remotely through the pandemic, but has continued to provide in-person response to victims seeking legal support and/or representation when permitted to do so by the County Services Center visitation policy. They have also continued to hold regular STOP and SART meetings using a virtual format, so no momentum was lost. Our campus advocate continued to provide office hours on campus where permitted or via Zoom to students of the local colleges and BTI. She also participated in campus prevention and awareness activities and serves on Albright's coordinated community response team. Our CAC coordinator has also continued to provide in-person response to families during their children's forensic interview process at the Children's Alliance Center, when permitted to do so by the County Services Center visitation policy. Our legal support coordinator continued to work with the Community Justice Project and Mid-Penn Legal to meet the needs of survivors with immigration issues. And many of our staff from the legal department have assisted the MAP department in making sure we're able to respond to victims at the hospitals. Our administrative team has worked on site and remotely throughout the pandemic to manage the mail, billing, payments, general inquiries, and overall agency support. And our executive team has worked on site throughout the pandemic to oversee all agency operations. As we know, the stay-at-home orders and the move to virtual education for our children, decreased or lost income, health concerns, and the overall unknown about COVID has impacted all of us. For victims of domestic violence and sexual assault, these concerns have unfortunately made home an even more unsafe place to be, especially if they're living with their abuser. The isolation caused by COVID has made it more difficult for them to seek help or have someone notice that help is needed. We have unfortunately lost lives in Berks County due to domestic violence during this pandemic, and we know that there are others out there that need our help. So we continue to find ways to make sure our community knows we are here and able to help. In the beginning, we saw a decrease in the number of people calling the hotline, text line, or seeking shelter. We believe this is because it was more difficult to find a safe way to reach out, or due to the fear of going to a hospital or a shelter during COVID. With grants provided by United Way and PCADV, we have been able to help clients who are not comfortable with coming to shelter with alternative relocation options that are not typically covered by our existing grants. In fall, we began to see an increase in the numbers and continue to see that our hotline and text line and shelter numbers are increasing. Our MAP department saw a significant increase in sexual assault calls during the pandemic, and our legal department also experienced a significant increase in the number of calls to their legal helpline. The counseling department's numbers also increased during COVID and kept their appointments booked solid. All of our staff have continued to work with clients and residents to address other concerns such as mental health and substance abuse, which are also on the rise during this pandemic, and housing, food insecurity, parenting skills, employment, and education. And we provide referrals to many of our collaborating agencies to assure that we're connecting our survivors with any and all necessary services that extend beyond what we are able to offer at Safe Berks. In regards to our staffing, since June, we've welcomed new board members and a new board president. We had 2 staff retire, one who worked in our shelter for over 25 years. We've had a few staff leave to begin new ventures, and we've had 3 staff give birth to beautiful babies since December. Our family is growing. My move to CEO occurred at the same time as our Director of Residential, Marilise Colon Ortiz, was promoted to COO, and our Assistant Director of Residential, Aleda Rodriguez, was promoted to Director of Residential. We also welcomed back a former employee, Tasha Isaac, to the role of Assistant Director of Residential. One of our intake hotline workers was promoted to Residential Case Manager, and our housekeeper was promoted to a lead housekeeper position, and we created a new position to assist her in maintaining a clean and sanitized facility. We hired a full-time maintenance tech and manager who oversees all aspects of the facility, performs routine and preventative maintenance tasks, and assures that our building has timely inspections, meets building codes, and has valid certificates of operation. As of today, we have welcomed 14 new staff, 7 who work in our shelter, and we have created 12 new positions because of increased need. Some of the new positions have been filled and others are still posted. The new positions include a full-time grant writer to help manage our client data, write and maintain reports for our existing grants, and seek additional grant opportunities for our current services and to help support new opportunities. An on-site HR director to support staff, oversee recruitment and hiring, payroll and benefits, and assure that all of our policies and procedures are up to date. She has also assisted greatly with the ever-changing COVID-related employment guidelines and make sure they are posted and communicated to staff. a full-time donor relations administrator to help the development team by entering donations, sending thank you letters, communicating with donors, and assisting with the day-to-day operations and events. 5 full-time bilingual educators for the Education and Outreach Department to support providing primary prevention curriculum in every Berks County School District over the next 5 years. An additional full-time position for the Counseling Department to provide services in the evening and on the weekends to accommodate the increased number of counseling referrals and offer more non-traditional hours. 2 full-time MAP rapid response advocates who work 6 p.m. to 4 a.m. providing overnight response to the medical facilities as well as in-person response to victims seeking emergency PFAs at the courthouse from 6 p.m. to 11 p.m. This is something we used to offer in the past, but needed to suspend due to funding. Over the past year, we have seen a huge increase in the need to bring back this service and hope to expand our ability to offer this 24/7. And the additional housekeeping position I mentioned earlier to assist our lead housekeeper with additional responsibilities involved in maintaining a sanitized environment. We've been very fortunate to build new and/or enhance existing community collaborations too. We received a grant to support our Education and Outreach Department's rapid expansion of the Healthy Relationships Project, which will bring primary prevention programming to all Berks County school districts over the next 5 years. We strengthened our relationship with the District Attorney's Office in relation to our sexual assault response team, which meets monthly to discuss issues relating to sexual assault in Berks County, as well as our involvement with the Children's Alliance Center, which is now run by the District Attorney's Office. Our campus advocate will begin offering office hours at RAC via Zoom in February and on site once COVID visitor rules allow. We now offer virtual counseling to inmates at Berks County Jail who are victims of sexual assault, thanks to the collaborative efforts of our legal department, counseling department, Berks County Probation and Parole, and jail officials. We have an equity committee comprised of staff, board members, and community members who are guiding us in our continued efforts to promote inclusivity and celebrate individualism and self-expression. We are currently working with COCA, Alvernia, Bethany Children's Home, Sunrise Music Therapy, Helping Harvest, Berks Latino Workforce Development Corporation, Hannah's Hope, the Purple Leash Project, and others in building or enhancing our collaborative efforts to meet the needs of domestic violence and sexual assault survivors in our community. And in January, the Humane Society began offering pet wellness services to domestic violence survivors on site at Safe Berks. We know that many pets suffer abuse as well, and many of our victims choose to stay in an abusive situation because they fear leaving their pets behind. Humane PA has provided us with food and supplies to keep on hand for survivors with immediate needs, and they also provide these items as well as free pet checkups, vaccines, microchipping, nail trimming, flea and tick treatment, and referrals for further treatment once per month in our parking lot. When their new facility is complete, we hope to resume shelter opportunities for pets as well. Our facility has also experienced some change since June. We were fortunate to receive multiple grants as well as CARES funding through DHS, which has allowed us to make necessary purchases and perform essential improvements to assure a clean environment for staff, clients, residents, and visitors. Some examples include Rogers Flooring replaced all of the carpet throughout the building and replaced with vinyl plank flooring, which is beautiful. Royal Plumbing replaced all toilets and faucets with touchless versions. HT Lyons assessed our air filtration system and will be installing an air scrubber in our shelter's living room. EthoSource installed acrylic up mounts in between all of the case manager workstations around the front desk on the first and second floor, in every office, and in between the workstations on the first floor. They also replaced 100 upholstered chairs with vinyl versions that can be easily sanitized. Touchless hand sanitizing stations have been located throughout the facility. All light switches will be replaced with motion sensor switches. All shelter rooms are in the process of being equipped with a flat screen TV, a microwave, and a refrigerator to support quarantining when necessary. We purchased masks, gowns, gloves, personal hand sanitizers, thermometers, and face shields. We also purchased 4 Clorox 360 disinfecting stations, 1 for each floor, to make sanitizing large spaces, especially the children's play areas, easier. We purchased paper products, cutlery, drink dispensers, and cereal dispensers for the dining areas to reduce sharing. And our maintenance manager also built a large counter to allow for social distancing when serving meals. We purchased all of the necessary equipment and technology to allow remote staff to access the network and/or provide virtual services from home. We will be receiving a time clock that will automatically take our temperatures upon arrival. And while not covered by CARES funding or grants, SAH has replaced all of our existing panic buttons with a new panic alarm system and is in the process of replacing, adding, and/or upgrading our existing camera system to ensure a safer environment for all. As you can see, it has been a very busy 7 months here at Safe Berks. We have so many new things in the works for 2021, which I hope I'll be able to share with you in person as the year progresses. If you're wondering how you can help or what you can do to help build a Safe Berks, we ask that you spread the word. Safe Berks is here and we want to help. Our hope is to one day have our bathroom sign in every public bathroom in the county. So if you know where we can hang them, please let us know and we will get them there. We update our wish list regularly on our website, and we are always seeking donations and sponsors, as well as volunteers to cook meals for our shelter residents. Please reach out to Mindy if you have any additional questions about any of these needs. Thank you for sharing your time with me this morning and your coffee with me this morning. I look forward to seeing all of you soon. Till then, please stay healthy, stay warm, and stay safe. Francine?
Thank you so much, Beth, for those wonderful updates. Now that we are wrapping up our virtual event, we want to thank each of you for taking time out of your busy day to join us and for everything you do to support Safe Berks. We are so grateful to each of you. If you have any other questions, please email me at francines@safeberks.org and we will send you additional information. You can also find more info about Safe Berks on our website at www.safeberks.org or follow us on social media. We're on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and LinkedIn. We hope that you have a great day and thank you for helping to build a Safe Berks.